Hey everyone, and welcome back. Coming up this week, we take a look at a groundbreaking new multimodal model from Microsoft, plus how AI is transforming the engineering process at Coinbase, according to its CEO, and the usual mix of data and tools, including a tool that will transform your ideas into dedicated apps in seconds. As always, if you enjoy the briefing, hit the subscribe and the like button. So first up, before all that, if you're looking for a new role at the moment, then this week, Google unveiled a playful new tool called Career Dreamer. So this tool is powered by Gemini, and it's an interactive tool that crafts a visualization of your career prospects based on your current experiences and also your dreams for the future. This is currently a Google Labs experiment and it's only available in the US, but if you are plotting your next career move and you're looking for ways to generate some inspiration for what it might be, then Career Dreamer might be worth checking out. Also this week, Google has pulled Gemini capabilities out of the main Google iOS app in an attempt to drive up downloads of the standalone Gemini app. And if you've not tried the standalone Gemini app yet, it's actually pretty impressive, particularly the live mode AI assistant, which is almost like chatting to a real person. And speaking of AI assistants, in this week's Knowledge series, I explore how to use AI agents at work for practical use cases. Some of the use cases I talk about in this piece include things like understanding your competitors' tech stacks, finding and applying for a new job or updating your resume, drafting speaker notes for an upcoming presentation, and a bunch of other scenarios as well. So if you're looking for ways to use AI agents at work, then this week's Knowledge series could be of interest. Plus, in a separate deep dive, I explore some practical ways companies like Snapchat, Microsoft, Uber, Stripe, Spotify, and others are using machine learning across their products for things like UX, security, revenue generation, and more. So if you want to go deeper into some of the concepts we cover in the briefing, then head over to Substack for that. Meanwhile, Instagram's DMs are getting an upgrade this week with the launch of 5 new features. These features include a new music sharing capability that allows users to share a 30-second clip of a track and real-time translation capabilities for up to 99 different languages. And Instagram is positioning these changes around the concept of crews. So as well as Instagram being a place where people can connect with social media influencers, they seem to be positioning Instagram as a potential alternative messaging app as well as a social media app. Elsewhere, Microsoft has unveiled something called Magma, which is a groundbreaking new multimodal AI model that integrates vision, language, and action capabilities. So put simply, this model can interact with a whole bunch of different things, including digital UIs and physical environments through robotics. So in one test, it achieved a 57.2% accuracy rate on UI navigation tasks. So it's not quite as impressive as OpenAI's Operator, but the technology behind this is different. And given that this is the first iteration of a multimodal model, we can expect this to improve over time. In other AI updates this week, Perplexity is the latest company to offer a deep research product. And unsurprisingly, it too is called Deep Research. Now, based on my experience, the results of this are pretty decent, but nothing mind-blowing. But what I do really like is that the exported PDFs look very nice. So to give you a flavor, I actually asked it to create a report on all of the essential new product releases from the past week that product teams should know about, and this is what it generated. So it's very nicely designed and is the kind of thing you could share around at work, but as with all things AI related, beware of hallucinations and everything needs to be double checked beforehand. This week, Perplexity also launched an open source version of DeepSeek, which it is calling R11776, which is obviously a play on the US Declaration of Independence. And the main reason it chose that as a name is because this open source version of DeepSeek removes any topics that were previously censored by the Chinese Communist Party. Not to be outdone, xAI has released the 3rd version of Grok, which according to Chatbot Arena, beats all other models across performance metrics. And aside from Grok 3's very impressive performance, the product also comes with a pretty nice new logo design. And the logo's designer, John Vio, explained that the design is based upon the concept of the singularity, and it draws inspiration from the mystery and the power of a black hole, which is probably an apt source of inspiration for folks who believe that AI poses an existential threat to humanity. Now, Grok 3 is currently number 1 in the iPhone App Store, but as we learnt with DeepSeek, which also shot to the top of the iOS App Store, these things can be pretty short-lived. DeepSeek is now sitting at number 22, and ChatGPT is still firmly in 2nd place. So it'll be interesting to see if Grok has any staying power versus DeepSeek. Now let's take a look at some tools you can use. And the first is something called Granola. And Granola describes itself as an AI notepad for people in back-to-back meetings. So people who are busy at work. And fresh off the back of $20 million in new funding, Granola's core value proposition is in generating transcripts and notes from your meetings. Now, I know you're thinking, not another transcript product, we've got plenty of those. Well, one of Granola's differentiators is that it not only creates transcripts, but it enhances those with AI. And it ships with a bunch of customizable templates for your most common meeting types. So this integrates with things like Google Meet, Slack, Teams, and so on. And it makes it much easier to share the next steps from a meeting. Some of his biggest fans include the co-founder of Intercom, Des Traynor. So if you're looking for ways to transform your notes into more actionable items, then Granola could be something to check out. Another tool this week is something called Tool Finder. And this is kind of like a search engine to help you discover tools, software, and also explore integrations. So you can use natural language to ask it to find specific SaaS products in seconds. So you could say something like, find me a productivity tool for under $10 a month for my MacBook. And it'll then go off and search based on the criteria that you've put in. As well as tools, it allows you to explore integrations. So you can search for specific integrations between tools like Slack and Trello, Google Sheets and Gmail, HubSpot and Dropbox, any tools really that have API integrations. So if you're currently looking for ways to optimize your tools by using them in conjunction with each other, then Tool Finder could be interesting as well. And finally, if you like the idea of turning your ideas into apps in just seconds, then Lovable is a product that you should check out. So this has made headlines over the past couple of weeks for generating millions in revenue in record time. But Lovable essentially allows you to create mini apps in seconds without ever having to write code. And on the Lovable website, you can actually explore some of the apps that have been created by other users. This includes things like workflow management systems, digital bookshelves, apps that analyze your WhatsApp chats, and lots more. So if you're looking for inspiration for ways in which you can create apps from scratch using just text prompts, then check out the Lovable gallery. And this leads us nicely onto some product trends and data for the week. And the first is that Coinbase's CEO says that 100% of its engineering team have now onboarded to Cursor, which is the AI code editor that can drastically speed up the engineering process. Coinbase's CEO said in a tweet that now that 100% of its engineering team have onboarded to Cursor, the next step in their engineering transformation is to automatically attach pull requests to every Jira and Linear ticket based on the description in the ticket. Here is a demo of this in action. So you can see Cursor is capable of reading Linear tickets and then creating pull requests off the back of it. So this is going to be fascinating to see how this transforms the end-to-end product development process. And also this week, another AI startup called Codium announced that it's in talks to raise more funding, an evaluation of almost $3 billion. So as the AI code generation market hots up, here's a snapshot of how some of the top companies compare. If Codium was to get the investment that it needs, then that would push it ahead of its peers. But the important thing to note with all of this is that these are AI coding startups which specifically focus on integrated development environments. And if you were to include the likes of OpenAI, Grok, and Anthropic into this, then these valuations would look different in that context. The major player in all of this, of course, is GitHub. And since they're part of Microsoft, we can't exactly call them a startup. Continuing this theme, Zillow has also announced that it routes over 100,000 users to products that were not built by engineers at all. So they say that Replit and other no-code tools are making it much easier for non-engineers to build simple applications. And as part of this, it's becoming clear that micro SaaS applications are vulnerable. As Kevin Roos says here, he almost spent $100 a year for an app that he needed, which was to allow him to export thousands of saved bookmarks to a spreadsheet. And then he thought to himself, I wonder if Claude could make this for me. And 10 minutes later, the app that he needed was built. So what we can see here is that micro SaaS companies that specialize in niche use cases like this are likely to be disrupted by AI. And in the future, this could eventually apply to larger SaaS companies as well. If in the future it's simpler to build and maintain your own proprietary software, then why would large companies bother spending money on third-party SaaS products at all? Just something to ponder. Here's a case for the return of Humans. After becoming infamous for declaring how it had managed to offload lots of its customer support to AI, Klarna's CEO seems to have done a bit of a U-turn this week. So this week, he confirmed that he's had an epiphany. And that epiphany is that nothing will be as valuable as humans. And so as well as his AI initiative for outsourcing work to robots, it seems as though they're going to now kick off work to allow Klarna to become the best at offering a human to speak to. In other news this week, Crunchbase says that it has developed a tool that can predict a startup's success rate with 95% accuracy. So if you head over to Crunchbase right now, you'll see that their UI has completely changed to become AI first, which includes a search box for natural language prompts. And as part of the relaunch, Crunchbase's Chief Product Officer, Meg Gautam, says that the company's predictions stem from a unique combination of contributed data, captured data from public sources, and anonymized user engagement patterns. So it says that it's able to predict fundraising, but with 95% precision. And for 12-month predictions, accuracy remains in the high 70s. Beyond fundraising, Crunchbase's AI can also predict acquisitions, IPOs, company growth, and even potential layoffs. So something like this could really transform the startup ecosystem, and it could potentially put people off continuing with their startups. If you create a company and you go on to Crunchbase and you find out that your likelihood of success is 5%, then what does that do to the morale of the people who work there? Interesting times in the investment space. Other sectors being disrupted this week include call center agents. And with the global speech and voice recognition market projected to grow from $9.4 billion in 2022 to $28 billion by 2027, this startup called SaaS is hoping to get a slice of the pie with a fresh $65 million fundraising. And this product is specifically designed to help businesses transform the accents of people who work in their call center. The company's CEO said that accent bias is a global challenge, and at SaaS, they're working towards building a future where people can more easily understand each other regardless of their origin. So essentially, this technology allows people to use their natural voice and accent and then convert it into an accent that is more globally understood, which I'm guessing is probably an American accent. So what will this do to people with slightly different accents, do you think? So this could have a significant impact on the number of businesses choosing to outsource to cheaper regions globally, since they're able to remove any of the biases associated with accents outside of a customer's home country. And finally, we end with the sad news that Humane, the AI pin, is shutting down and selling all of its assets to HP. Now, this is quite sad, but in my view, this pin was always doomed to fail from the outset. I always thought it was a pretty silly idea that never really passed the initial product market fit sniff test. Are users willing to spend $24 a month for a badge that projects UI onto their hands and allows them to answer questions about the world around them? I think they could have conducted some pretty simple user research here to figure out whether this was something that users ever wanted to do. Some people have asked whether this was a pricing issue or a product issue, and I'd argue that pricing is a product issue. But even if this product was free, I'm not convinced that people want to strap hardware to their bodies so that they can perform tasks that are more easily done on a phone. What do you think? Do you think the Humane AI pin had a chance of success? And do you think perhaps now with cheaper AI models like DeepSeek, it could have had a chance of succeeding if it was given a bit more time? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll leave it there for this week. Thanks very much for listening and watching. I'll be back next week with another briefing.